Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 30th. This week, you have this desert spirit says love from the creator. You have this raven, it says listen on it. And didn't I literally say this to you? I'm pretty sure that in your July reading that I just did for you, that I said something about how I think for fixed signs, it's an amazing time to listen to like what is not being said. I don't know. There is just like a lot of opportunity, it seems, for you fixed signs, and specifically you, I would say, Aquarius, because I'm pretty sure I just said this to you, that, you should be listening to what is not being said, right? This could be because there are like opportunities in work or business. It's like, you never know. You might like overhear your boss talking about how they're like looking to hire a new manager, and it's like you should be the one to be like, hey, me right here. Like I would be looking for those types of opportunities. That's just one example. Again, there could be like a million examples. You could be listening to your competition on YouTube or something, and they might say something that stands out to you that could bring up like an opportunity or something like that. This could also be like your intuitive feelings as well. You have the Two of Cups here, and you have the Lovers as well, and this is good for love. But Two of Cups is you and your higher self. With the Two of Cups, we could be communicating with our higher self in our like dreams or daydreams. Pretty much anywhere. And with the Lovers, kind of the same. This is your higher self angel right here at the top of the Lovers. And so there clearly could be communication coming from your higher self. Now, this could represent a new opportunity or a new path that's opening up to you. Again, I do feel love here, but I also feel that a lot of you Aquarius people could be kind of like starting new directions in your life. I'm getting like, I don't know, something about like looks, but I'm not like saying how you look, Aquarius, although that could be part of it. Some of you definitely could be changing like how you look. You could be updating your look or, updating how you look. But also, like, again, if you have like a business or a career, if you're trying to get a raise or a promotion, it's like how you appear could be very important at this time. So, I would make sure, that's going to be different for all of you. So definitely something to pay attention to, but the Lovers could also be love. You have the Devil. Every single person has had the Devil in July. I would definitely be careful in July. Like, I think everybody, and I don't mean this in like a scary way. I don't think tarot should scare you. I don't think tarot should be negative, or, tarot is not negative or positive. It is just energy that exists. You can deal with it however you want. You can be a whiny crybaby and talk about how nothing ever good happens to you, like a lot of, whiny crybabies. Or you can look at it the positive and avoid these things, right? So what I would say here is that the Devil says that, especially July, there's something about July about like needing to avoid past toxic people. It could be current toxic people as well, and it could be in love, could be in any area of your life, but it just seems like there's a little bit of a toxic vibe, in the energy, and I would just avoid it. I don't think this is good. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just saying completely avoid it, right? So that way it's neither, right? That way it's not even in your, in your consciousness, right? You should totally avoid it at all costs. And this is true for everyone. You have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is passion. That's one other thing that is positive that I think is popping up in July, is that a lot of people have been getting these messages of kind of like a lot of desire, but also like a lot of, kind of like motivation to work on things that are exciting, that are growing. You end with the Knight of Wands as well, which is also very similar, but Ace of Wands is like out with the old, in with the new. And so there definitely could be a very passionate new beginning coming in for you. This could be a passionate connection as well, for those of you that want love. I would say this is like a very fiery person. If it's not a fire sign, I would be very surprised. It could just be a person who has, fire in their chart somewhere. So, again, take it how it resonates. But, definitely could be a very fiery person that's coming in for you in general. But looks pretty good. So let's see. Here you go. With the Lovers, you have the Emperor. I was saying a fiery person. The Emperor could be an Aries. Doesn't have to be. It could just be like an Emperor type person. Like I said, a person who's very fiery. A person who's very passionate, very driven, very successful. Whatever. So definitely could be attracting a person like that. I would say on a personal level as well, Aquarius. I knew I was going to do that. Aquarius, I think that it's an amazing time for you to take the lead on anything that you want to work on. Plain and simple. With the devil, you have the Nine of Wands. Yes, I would put those boundaries up against any devils in your life. And a devil doesn't even have to be a person. It could be a habit. It could be, a location, a place that you go. The devil is basically an energy vampire. So anything that steals your energy, and that could be anything. Again, that could be things that you eat, things that you deal with. It could be things on TV, whatever it is. I would be very picky this month. I know this is a weekly reading, but I feel the entire month of July, you might as well be like very picky with your energy, and I mean that in a good way, like very specific about who, what, and where gets your energy, and especially if it's toxic, I would put those boundaries up. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Page of Pentacles. Definitely could be a new person, for sure. We see a lot of this new type of person energy. Page of Pentacles is usually communication. So, usually the Page of Pentacles, we start by communicating with a person, and then we kind of like go from there. And the Page of Pentacles could also be an earth sign, but really I feel it could be any sign. And I just feel the Page of Pentacles is just talking about how it's a new person. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you for this week, you have the Close Encounters card and this Birds of a Feather card. So this Birds of a Feather card is good, especially for love. And you have the Two of Cups and Lovers, so obviously, if you're attracting a person, the two of you are probably like two peas in a pod, right? And definitely could be a very good connection. The Close Encounters card is kind of like a card of needing to escape something. You can see that butterfly. It's almost like, really the intuitive message that I'm getting here, Aquarius, is that you have already undergone a transformation, but it's like you're still acting as if you have not, So it's like, really, I think that's what the cards are saying here. These two cards, plus you have the Six of Wands, which is a very good card, plus you have the Eight of Wands. You always get the Eight of Wands with me, and the Seven of Cups, I'm pretty sure. And you have both together. Both cards basically say you have to be pointing in one direction. With both of those cards, we have to be aiming in towards something that we desire, and we have to make that one thing happen. And that's what I would do here. Like, you're still, I think you could still be acting as if you haven't transformed, or you could still be like leaning on that past energy of not having transformed, but you have. And I feel like you need to act as if you have changed, because you have. You have the Two of Cups, the Six of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. Again, very tight connection here if you're looking for love. Even if you're not looking for love, this could just be like a person, like a friend. Eight of Wands is friendship. Eight of Wands is socializing. So, take it how it resonates, but definitely could be very strong connections coming in for those of you that want it. If you're already in a connection, again, same thing. I think that you could be strengthening the connection further and kind of like taking it to a deeper level, which is also great with the Two of Wands. Or, sorry, the two of Cups here. But the Two of Cups is usually two people who are very different. So you could be attracting someone who's like different than your usual type. You have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands, like a victory or success coming in for you. For whatever reason, like, I feel that you need to be, it's like you need to act as if you have changed, because you have here, Aquarius. It's like, it's almost like this is like the final step you need to take, is what I'm getting intuitively here. It's like, I feel like you've taken so many steps over the last many years to transform in life. And it's like, this is literally the final step, but you're not doing it. And I'm not calling you out or anything. I think we all do this in life, where it's like, we're very close and we're like, there's no way it can be this easy. But it's like, what I think you need to realize is that, your past 20 years probably hasn't been easy. It probably has been hard. So it's like, I think you need to give yourself more credit or something. It's like, sometimes I think we do this, where it's like, we get to the end of a journey, and then we're like, oh, there's, it would be too easy for me able to do this. It's like, to be able to, take this last step. But it's like, no, it's taken you like 20 freaking years to get to this point. So it hasn't been easy, and maybe you need to give yourself, the credit you deserve here. I also feel like, I really feel like you're like angels, ancestors, whatever you believe in, it's like they're really cheering you on. I think, like, just intuitively, I feel like those people around him are like not here on Earth. Like, sure, yes, there will probably be people here on Earth that are celebrating you, but I feel like these are other people. These are, people on the other side that are like, yes, Aquarius, you are very close. Keep going. Take that final step. It's like they're really cheering you on. You have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, making things too hard. Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. So I would definitely open up to all the ways of doing things, all the ways there are to do things that you're trying to do, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Because if you do that, you will be successful. So I would get moving here, Aquarius. I feel like there's a lot of success that could be coming in for you. I also feel like a lot of happiness here for some reason. And, again, Eight of Swords is not a card of happiness. I read intuitively. That's the word that's popping into my head. So take it how it resonates. I don't know. Maybe it's because you are going to be happy after you set yourself free from something. And that is definitely a possibility. But it is popping into my head as happiness. Again, yes, I understand. The Eight of Swords is not a happy card. But there you go. Here you go. With the Two of Cups, you have the Eight of Swords. This could be you holding yourself back in love. Like, if you're interested in a person and you're not doing anything about it, then this could say that you are, this could say that, by opening up, maybe that's what makes you happy, is like you finally open up. Like, trust me, ladies, I get it. I get a lot of comments from you ladies that say, I'm not going to make the first move and everything like that. I'm like, yeah, but you might have to do something. Us guys are dumb, right? It's like, a person literally could be throwing themselves at me, like, right in front of my face, and I would be like, there's no way this person likes me. That's how guys are, right? So I'm specifically speaking to ladies out there for the most part. And yes, you call me sexist, whatever. I don't care. Call me all the names in the book. Go for it. Don't give a shit, Aquarius. But what I would say right here is that, it's like maybe you have to do something. Maybe you have to drop something in front of this person. Maybe you have to run them over with your freaking car. Or maybe you have to, run into them with a shopping cart at the store. I don't know. Do something to get this person's attention, right? And I think if you do that, then that could be very helpful. There you go. Obviously, don't run someone over with their car. That's illegal. With the Six of Wands, you have the Magician here. The Magician is about manifestation, of course. I feel like you've been asking for something here, clearly. It's like whenever I have the Magician and the Seven of Cups, to me, that says that you have been asking for something. Like, the Magician already represents that, but the Seven of Cups definitely, it makes that a little bit stronger. And then he's pointing to the Eight of Wands, which is like very quick success. So, again, maybe you've been asking for love, or you've been asking for connection, or whatever. And, whatever this is, I would go for it. How funny is it, by the way? How crazy is this? I said it on that Six of Wands. I said it on the Lovers and the Two of Cups, I think, as well, or whatever it was, that you need to act as if, like, that is the final step you need to take. The Magician is a card of manifestation, of course, but it's a card of reinvention. He has a snake wrapped around his waist, which represents the fact that he's reinventing himself. So he is acting as if he already is the thing that he wants to be. And, that's what we were talking about this whole time. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Two of Swords. I've been saying this to you for weeks. Something is not going to go how you think, and I think that in the best way possible is what I would say. She is thinking that if she does something, that this or that will happen, but really this will happen, something over here. And so she needs to realize that things aren't going to go how she thinks. They're probably going to go a different way. And I feel like you need to realize that, Aquarius. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Adventure card and this Compassion card. Yes, Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands at the end. Knight of Wands is definitely a card of adventure. The Seven of Cups can be an adventure. You have actually all three of these cards. You have the Eight of Wands and the Fool. They can all represent kind of like making a move with the Eight of Wands. The Fool would be taking a leap of faith towards something where you are taking the risk of looking foolish, right? And so a lot of you could be kind of like going on some sort of adventure. I think you need to have more compassion for yourself. It's like you need to value the things that you desire and not beat yourself up. That's what I feel intuitively. It's like sometimes I think we ask for something, but, there's like a little bit of underlying guilt, based off of what we're asking for. And that's like what's popping into my head with these two cards. And I feel like you need to, again, ask for things and not feel guilty about it, because you should, plain and simple. You have the Seven of Cups, the Eight of Wands, and the Fool. Seven of Cups is about being spoiled for choice, having a lot of options. So I do feel like you have a lot of options at this time with the Seven of Cups. He needs to pick a cup and basically make it happen. So again, I think that you have a lot of options, and he needs to pick one of these cups and bring it down to earth. The problem is maybe he's overthinking things too much, or he's thinking about this, that, and the other thing too much. But he just needs to, again, bring one of those cups down to earth. And I kind of feel like that's what you have to do with the Seven of Cups. You have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands like quick success or quick conclusion. But these Eight Wands are, again, they're all pointing in one direction. So I feel like you need to make sure that you are focusing in your life in one direction. And if you do that, I feel things will go very well for you. Again, those Eight Wands, it's about pointing in one direction. You can't pull in two different directions. The Eight of Wands is also about making things easier. The Eight of Wands is about, I always say it's my card of creating a slip and slide in life, where it's like, there are hard ways and easy ways to do things, of course, but, it basically says if there are things that are hard or if there are things that are slowing you down, can you smooth those things out? Can you find ways to make those things easier? And the answer is yes, you can. And if you do that, your life will get easier. You have the Fool. The Fool is about taking a leap of faith in a new direction. The Fool is about taking the risk of looking like a fool. I'm pretty sure you've been getting this card with me for weeks, Aquarius, and I've been saying to you for weeks that you are going to have to do something where you have to take the risk of looking like a fool. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of you could be taking that risk, or you could be doing something to take that risk with the Fool card. And yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything to say about it because I just feel like this is something that you're going to be doing. There you go. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Ace of Wands again. So we go from the Ace of Wands to the Ace of Wands. I feel like there's just something you want, and I feel like you just have to get it. I know that's not a good answer, but it's like the Ace of Wands is about your desire, and it's a very passionate card, and it can say you definitely have passion about something, and it could be anything. The Seven of Cups is like, again, daydreaming or dreaming of all the different things that could happen if you accept that wand into your life, but it's like you have to find out. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is walking away from things that no longer serve you. So again, cutting things out of your life that are slowing you down will probably lead to fulfillment. Again, the Eight of Cups is a very common card right now because we're kind of like in between eclipses. We have the next set of eclipses starting in September, and so for a lot of you, it's like between now and then. I think this is true for everyone. Whenever we're in between eclipses, we could cut things out, we could remove things. It is what it is. With the Fool, you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is a victory or a big success coming in for you, which you have several cards that represent that. Eight of Wands, Six of Wands, and this card, Star. Really good cards. The Ace of Swords is also laser-like focus, so we have to pick one thing that we really want, and we have to make it our focus with the Ace of Swords to make it happen. The other thing with the Ace of Swords is that the Ace of Swords cuts both ways. So sometimes we have to remove one thing so that we can have something better. This represents a sacrifice right here, this palm frond. The olive branch represents an offer of peace. But again, I think for a lot of you, you could be kind of like, it's like this could represent making a sacrifice to get something better in your life. And I do feel there are things, there are a lot of better things that could be coming in for you with this energy. The sword is also above the mountains as well on the Ace of Swords. And so it can represent overcoming an obstacle. And I do feel a lot of you could be overcoming some sort of obstacle here. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Inner Goddess card. It says, express your divine feminine energy and loving wisdom will transform your life. You have this Delicate Rose. It says, be willing to honestly say what you feel, no matter how terrifying it may seem. Yeah, so definitely time to speak up. Remember what I said, run them over with your car. Don't really do that. Just kidding. But, seriously. It's like you need to speak up here, Aquarius. This could be in some other area of your life as well, so take it how it resonates. This could be in work or business. Maybe you need to tell your boss you deserve a raise, and if they say, no, I can't give you a raise, then maybe it's time to look for something else, right? The Inner Goddess card is about valuing yourself, and it doesn't matter what gender you are. I think that, the Inner Goddess card is saying you need to value yourself no matter what. You have the Knight of Wands, the Five of Swords, the Star, and the Nine of Wands. The Knight of Wands is about it being adventurous and spontaneous. I do feel like there's a lot of spontaneous opportunity for people. It's hard to describe, but I talk about this in almost every single reading because it's critically important. It's like, yeah, sure. People will tell me I'm repeating myself while ignoring all the completely new messages that I deliver. They just focus on that one that I repeat, which is this one, and I'm gonna keep repeating it because I think everybody needs to hear it. I need to hear it. We need to go on adventures right now. And this could be mental adventures, doesn't even have to be physical. We can just learn something new from home. We can explore new ideas from home. The people who do that are going to be ridiculously successful because we are going to get the answers we need from variety. And it's really hard to describe. Again, I don't even understand it, but you have the Seven of Cups, which is the card of variety. But it's almost like the universe has been saying to me in readings that people who give themselves a variety of options or just explore variety are going to get the answers they need. So, I don't know. There you go. You have the Five of Swords. Definitely time to take some sort of risk here, Aquarius, whatever the risk is. Five of Swords can represent kind of like a separation or walking away from something. But it's coming up in the good stuff, and I do feel like there could be some sort of leap of faith or some sort of risk that you are going to be taking with the Five of Swords, and I feel whatever this risk is will be very good for you. He's also walking away from things that no longer serve him. You have that Nine of Wands with the Devil. You have the Nine of Wands at the end here. So again, I think that it could be very important for you to like make sure that you're putting up boundaries. Five of Swords isn't really a card of boundaries, but he is walking away. So some of you might need to walk away from certain people or certain. I don't even think it's people for all of you. Like I said, I think for some of you it could be habits, places that you go, things that you watch on TV that are super negative. It could be anything. You're gonna have to be honest with yourself. Next, you have the Nine of Wands and the Star, which is amazing. The Star is you, Aquarius, of course. So whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. The Nine of Wands is the Wounded Warrior, and he is kind of like not giving up. He's putting up boundaries. So I feel for a lot of you, you could be putting up a lot of boundaries, or you have been putting up boundaries with that Nine of Wands. And there you go. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Judgment card, which is like a wake-up call. And so a lot of you, and this is discovery. The coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And so they've been experiencing their old life for too long. And I feel for a lot of you that like exploring a new life or exploring new ideas or exploring new directions is going to be the thing that probably leads to the most success for you here, Aquarius. So I would like get out there and explore. I would get out there and start like learning new things with that card. With the Five of Swords, you have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, definitely could be like a knight in shining armor coming in for you in love if you want love. The Knight of Cups can also be like your dream. And so the Knight of Cups can say that you're dreaming of something or you have bigger dreams in life. And the the thing about the Knight of Cups is that he's standing in the desert, but he has this water flowing in front of him. And he could easily plant seeds in front of that water and they will grow. So I think it's time for you to kind of like plant some seeds here, Aquarius, in a new direction. With the Nine of Wands and the Star, you have the Five of Wands. Yeah, Five of Wands can be conflict or competition. But like I said at the beginning of the reading, there could be a lot of benefits for you in like learning from the competition here, Aquarius. Or, there could be a lot of benefits in you learning from people, basically, that could be competition. So, anything new that you can learn from other people, I think would be very beneficial with that card. The other thing about the Five of Wands is, no joke, I used to call that card Indiana Jones because to me, the Five of Wands can say that you are going on an adventure and, it's like you have to go on this crazy adventure to find your treasure. So, it could be some benefits and adventure for you. You have this tower. It says solid foundation, success with effort. Yeah. Sure. I mean, I think you are putting in the effort. I think you have been putting in the effort for a very long time, Aquarius. And I think you need to give yourself credit, like I said. You have this wall card. It says misunderstandings. Yeah, we do have a Mercury retrograde this month, even though we are, it's not until the 17th. I would still say that for the entire month of July, starting now, even if you're watching this on the 30th of June, then it doesn't matter. I would make sure that you're just very clear with your communication. You have this March card and this Flute card. It says disappointment in a friend or lover. Devil. Again, I would, every single person has had devil energy in July. It's pretty weird. And yes, I understand this is for the 30th. I'm sure someone's going to correct me and say it's still June. Yeah, but it's the 30th. So the last day of June. This reading, it might as well be for July. So I don't know, get over it. But, the other thing I would say is that for this entire month, I would be careful of anyone who has disappointed you, especially if they've disappointed you, too many times. To me, like, I really think for the most part, we should give adults one chance. That's it. Because, and you might call me a hard ass or whatever, but it's like an adult is an adult. If an adult screws up a relationship or whatever, it's like adults know the difference between right or wrong. So, to me, like one chance. And so, but this feels like someone who has screwed up multiple times. And it doesn't even have to be love. This could be a person in work or business or a friendship or something like that. And I would just be careful. You have a Scales card that says keep your life in balance. Every single person has also had a card like this, like keep your life in balance. So I don't know. It could be, and that kind of makes sense with the devil because, with the devil, we can be putting too much energy into like one thing or the other. We can be burning ourselves out. We can be wasting our energy. So, I would make sure you're not doing any of that. You have this eagle. It says triumph over obstacles. Yeah, if you are dealing with any obstacles, you could be overcoming those obstacles or any obstacles that you are dealing with the eagle card. So, sure. And we said this with the Ace of Swords that, I said that on the Ace of Swords, that you could be overcoming an obstacle. So it really wouldn't surprise me if you were overcoming some sort of obstacle this month, Aquarius. I would say this month, not even just this week. So this looks really good. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.